A ghost station is a place that trains pass by or under without ever stopping. They used to be bustling transportation hubs, but now sit quietly and for the most part, forgotten. This is one of those ghost stations, and it's a big one, located here in Rhode Island. It was constructed in 1916 and abandoned in 1959, making it one of the oldest historic abandoned places in the state. It's in an extreme state of disrepair these days, and we were fortunate enough to have full access to capture its decaying beauty. Before we get into what it's like inside, we have to talk about what it used to be and what happened to it, because seriously, how does it get to this point? The station was built in 1916 at the peak of industrial and population growth in this area, and it followed a fresh type of design. This one was built with pedestrian safety in mind, with the tracks constructed below and the station above. This way you couldn't just wander onto the tracks. The station itself was designed by F.W. Mellor, architect for the New Haven Railroad. Mellor oversaw the railroad's early 20th century reconstruction program and even worked on Grand Central in New York City. This beauty is 30,000 square feet, made up of brick and granite. And let me tell you, it was poppin' back in the day. 70,000. That was the average number of passengers per month at this place, with up to 79 trains passing through every day. The crazy part was that this was all local traffic. Lines stopping here didn't go to the major hubs. You'd have to transfer down the line in Providence if you want to do that. Just in case I'm not hyping this place up enough, in 1952, Dwight Eisenhower even stopped here on his campaign trail. That alone tells you the draw this place had at one point. The station sits above what is known today as Amtrak's Northeast Corridor. It was a major social hub, so of course it had a lot to offer. If we check out the original floor plan, you can see it's got two levels. The upper level housed the massive waiting room along with a barber shop, restaurant, ticket office, and baggage areas. The lower level is the outdoor track level with two island platforms providing access to all four tracks. But if it was so poppin', then why is it a ghost station? It's a familiar story as far as abandoned places go. The industry in the area shifted, and the automobile exploded in popularity. In the 1950s, people just weren't taking the train as much. Also, this station catering primarily to local traffic definitely didn't help its case. Most travelers opted for the nearby Union Station in Providence, which was a main hub that could take you to faraway lands. By 1959, the station had fallen into disrepair, and Amtrak, not wanting to put more money into an underused station, closed the ticket office for good. The rail itself was still up and running, so passengers just had to reach the platforms by stairway instead of venturing through the building. You can see the main stairways to the building were removed here and here, and same thing on the other side. These were later cemented up completely. In 1981, the number of passengers declined further, rail service ended here too, and it officially became a ghost station. Now let's venture inside the station, where the interior has none of its original elegance. I was joined on this trip by local photographer and filmmaker Dave Lawler to help document the station and tell its story. And I should say it hasn't been completely abandoned since 1959, since new owners in the 1970s used the space for a flea market for a time. There's still some leftover items from that flea market inside, but for the most part, this place has been destroyed by vandals.
time you come here, it just gets worse and worse.
Yep. It's rough. But
I know, it's sad seeing it like this.
yeah.
You know, especially seeing photos of what it used to look like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's huge in here.
Speaking of what it used to look like, this is a photo from the early 1940s of the room we're in. This is the main waiting room, with the ticket offices to the left. All of the trim work and facades have been taken down, including the gorgeous ceiling, which is now just exposed steel beams. The 1,000-foot skylight is still there, just minus the glass, which is now in pieces on the floor. Here's one of the remnants of the flea market I mentioned. A small train painted on the wall, and a small reminder of what this used to be.
Right now, the only sound in here is that plastic just kind of waving in the wind. It's pretty dead silent. This is the elevator shaft.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it used to be an elevator shaft.
By now, I'm sure you see a pattern with this place. It's completely trashed, and it only gets worse from here. You can barely discern the rooms from each other, like this once being the baggage room. So let's pause for a second, because I'm sure you're wondering, how does it get like this? The reason it closed in 1959 was because it was already falling into disrepair, and that just continued, even with the new owners and flea market in the 1970s. By 1981, when service and all activity here completely stopped, it was in even worse shape. This is a photo taken in the 1980s after it was abandoned. It was later cleaned up, but remember this photo because it's key to my next point. Because there were efforts to save this place. In 1984, the station was considered for nomination to the National Register of Historic Places, but the review board voted unanimously to defer consideration of the property pending the performance and report of a study of the railroad station's structural integrity. And yeah, I agree with them after seeing that last photo. So it was denied, the station was cleaned up a bit and inspected. But there is good news. In 1997, the station was labeled a significant property and has been formally determined eligible for listing in the National Register, which does provide it some protections. So now let's head back in because there's a bit more I want to show you.
There's just trash everywhere in here. This is probably the worst abandoned place I've seen. Like, it's easily in the worst shape out of anywhere I've been. That's crazy. Yeah, when I say this place is destroyed, it is completely destroyed.
We kept moving through the station, but honestly, there wasn't much to look at except for trash on the floor and more graffiti on the walls.
Used to be the bathroom in here.
What's that?
Used to be the bathroom in here.
Oh, actually, I've never been in this room. Wow.
Somehow the bathroom is the cleanest room
Yep.
in this whole station. This is all ice on the floor right here. There's a leak somewhere.
The whole station is in this shape with really nothing left untouched by vandals. But there was one more area we wanted to visit, the main hallway at the front of the station where passengers would descend down to the tracks. And we got a nice surprise when we got there.
Here comes the train.
I usually have a sense of wonder and appreciation visiting spots like this, but the amount of vandalism and trash in here really took away those feelings. The building is still structurally sound, but there are a lot of reasons rehabbing this place is unlikely. First, it will never be reopened as a train station. The curvature of the tracks here makes running and stopping Amtrak's difficult, on top of the already narrow passage. Also, there's already a commuter station being built nearby for easy pedestrian access that's set to open in 2021. That station completely eliminates the need for the old one to reopen. Second is the location. There's no room for parking here no matter what this is turned into. Add to that the massive costs of getting the building repaired and up to code, and it's enough to make any investor step back. This station was actually scheduled to be demolished in 2006. And this is the crazy part, demolition actually started. Here's a photo from December 2006, removing the northern wing to make room for a CVS parking lot. But before they could continue, the local city council put a stop to it, citing the building's historical significance. Notice anything different about this place now? That's right, the partially demolished section was actually repaired. You can see the new bricks, trim, and a new roof on this part of the station. They did this in 2007. That's wild that they took the time and resources to repair it. If only they did the rest of the station. Yes, it's nasty in there now, but I still respect it for what it was. Its future is uncertain, but one thing that would be nice is for the city to seal this place back up again. Because a vandal's paradise chilling above active train tracks seems like a bad idea to me. For now, this is just another empty relic from a different era, stuck between private redevelopment and preservation. But in its current condition and potential uses limited, it might not be saved the next time demolition talks come around. To see more interesting abandoned places like this, you can check out the rest of my Abandoned from Above series on my channel right now. Thank you very much for watching.